r/AskReddit by Redmond Dts. What's the worst thing someone's asked you to do during sex? She wanted me to bite her nipples, but no matter how hard I did it, she wanted it harder. It got up to the point where it felt like I was going to pierce them, and my teeth hurt. Makes me feel ill thinking about it, but she loved it. Had a girl shove an ice cube up my bum. No warning, no permission. I don't even know where she pulled the ice cube from. Put a blanket over a crib. That's when I looked over and saw the world's quietest 1.5-year-old sitting upright staring straight up my asshole as I rearranged the furniture with his mom. She wanted me to cover him up like a parakeet. Another girl, a cute Spanish old girl, wanted me to keep doing things with her while she was on the phone. She's speaking Spanish, trying to hide little moans, and I assume she's talking to a friend or something, maybe an ex, I dunno. This was like a 10-minute call, and I've used fingers, my mouth, a hairbrush, a vibrator, etc. The whole time she's jerking me off and occasionally gesturing for me to kiss her. It's literally one of the hottest things. She hangs up, I'm between her legs, slowly thrusting as I tease her. Good call, I whisper coyly. She goes, no, my co-worker killed herself, and they need me to come on Monday to pack up her desk to give to her family, so they don't need to. I had a friend with benefits situation, the only one I've ever had. And she was the biggest fan of Pitbull you'd ever meet. She insisted we screw to her playlist that was entirely Pitbull, and I had to fight off laughter for the first month of seeing her. Now, unfortunately, I've been left with a Pavlovian response to Pitbull that I really don't need. My only ever attempt at a one-night stand, we met at a bar, danced a little, and then went back to my hotel. Things were progressing exactly as I expected, and the words that I 100% was not ready for came out. Punch me in the face when you screw me. Like slap you, or choke you a little? Okay, I'm down, I think. No, punch me in the face as much as you want. With your fist. I don't kink shame. But I'd known her for 4 hours. Hell no. She reached under her bed and pulled out an elaborate looking box. She'd hinted at having a weird kink during our date, but wanted to elaborate when we got to that point. So we are sitting there on her bed wearing nothing, having stopped cold when moments earlier the passion was electric. My erection slowly dying as she ritualistically opened the box. She looks up at me with a sheepish grin as I look at the contents. The box looks expensive, custom designed even. It's lined in purple velvet and had individualized compartments that each held a very sharp looking knife. Knives of all shapes and sizes, some serrated, some curved, some cheap looking, while others are ornate and expensive. Handles of varying shapes and materials. I've known this woman for all of 18 hours at this point, so the thought that I was about to be attacked briefly washed over me, but the ritualistic way she went about it let me relax. She went on to explain what she liked. She wanted me to threaten her with them, wanted me to trace the blade over her body, said I should use the back of the blade on her nipples, etc. I suppose my look said it all as she went from gleeful to deflated and embarrassed. I told her I wasn't judging her, but I wouldn't be comfortable doing anything remotely like she suggested. I still figured we'd get it on as we'd been so hot and heavy leading up to that moment, but she quickly got up and started getting dressed. I took that as my cue and did the same. As she was walking me out apologizing, she explained that vanilla just does nothing for her, and if I wasn't going to be able to get her off, she wasn't going to be getting me off. Wow, that's a conversation that needs to happen before you got to the bedroom. My second partner ever, I was not ready for. We were going at it missionary style, except in my experience it was more of a drill sergeant kind of missionary. Meaning, she would yell and scream at me while talking dirty, and I'd be doing push-ups as fast as I could basically on top of her. Needless to say, she was far more experienced. Anyways, things quickly escalated. Eventually she kindly yelled at me, punch me in the face. Me being the gentleman I am, I ignored her request. She continued yelling, harder, faster, deeper, sweat pouring off my face. She sternly yells again, hit me. Confused, I awkwardly but gently slap or drag my open hand across her face. My heart was beating out of my chest. Suddenly the atmosphere changed into what I can only describe as a scene from The Exorcist. At the apogee of my push-up, she screams, hit me. I slap her slightly harder, but I only awoke the demons. She judo flips my ass over in this sexual pincer move, all the while sounding like a Spartan at Thermopylae. She flipped me again. I'm like a penguin in the water, covered in sweat and spit from her battle cry. I'm terrified and I do what any man would do. I punched her dead center in her face, and she loses it. Absolutely loved it. She flips me over, nose bleeding, slapping herself, slapping me, all the while bouncing up and down. I was mortified. She eventually finished, and at this point my bed looks like a murder scene. Afterwards she cuddled me, like the little spoon I am. Told this story before, but on a one-nighter, she turned on a life-sized electric eel. It had red eyes. I went to turn it off, and she demanded, leave it on. There was a language barrier. She asked me to eat her poo. Upon clarification, she wanted me to lick her nipples. Basically roleplay, where I'm black by the way, was supposed to be like a slave, and they would call me an. This girl wanted me to choke her. I was like, easy, I'm a big guy, how hard can this be? Dog, she didn't mean while screwing, she meant just casually while fully clothed, and she wanted to be choked purple. Hide in the closet, because her boyfriend stopped by for a quickie. She bit my finger and drew blood, then she bit my ear, and drew blood again, then my lip. Pain made me lose my erection. She started calling me soft, I guided her out the door, and blocked her everywhere. Role players there sis. Yeah, didn't happen again. Pee inside her in the shower. Thinking about it, the sensation makes sense. But man, do you understand it's almost impossible to make this happen? To get hard and want to pee, that only happens unsolicited in the morning. If it's soft, it won't go in. Semi-hard is the sweet spot, but even still, you have a small window before the mind thinks too much and it just goes soft. Nonetheless, it was a success. She loved it. Finest girl I ever met in my whole life. Want to take her home, make her my wife. Knew she was a freak when she started talking. She said, screw me like we screwed Bin Laden. This isn't my story, but a friend of mine's story, and it makes me laugh every time. Dude was in missionary, and I guess this girl asked him to hit her, and he said no. She called him a bitch, so he slapped her, but she didn't want to be slapped. She wanted to be full on closed fist socked in the jaw, bro. So I guess she said no, punch me you bitch. Bro socked her, and I guess she just full on orgasmed and passed out while he was still inside. He fled the scene. He wanted me to put a pizza cutter handle up his butt. I'm not into butt stuff to begin with, but I'm super not into cutting my hands up while doing butt stuff. I also had a guy want to put a baseball bat in me. I politely declined. Shut up, because my moaning was, and I quote, throwing him off. I was barely making a sound, and even if I was, stop enjoying yourself so I can focus on coming is not a great look for anyone, especially not a second date. Pretend to be her 25-year-old son. Not hypothetically a son, but her son, name and all. So much eek. He decided to play oops wrong hole and poked it into my butt with no lube, and when I told him to stop, he refused and told me to shit out his dung. He wanted me to push it out. Needless to say, sex did not resume from that point. Asked me to burn her. I said no. To speak like Arnie Schwarzenegger. lick her armpits while she was on top of me. When I did it, she started moaning like a dying cow. It took me a while to process, and I never ever did that again. Both her and the armpits thing. Eat poop. I left and lost her phone number. Hurry up because I'm getting tired. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more. Have a nice evening.